Hey guys, what's up? What's up? Hello, how are y'all doing this Sunday evening? I'm here for the review of BMF Season 1, Episode 3 Love All, Trust Few. So let's get into it. Okay, so the beginning of the episode, um, we see Terry. Terry up in the kitchen, fixing him some burgers and everything like that. Lil Meech, this is when they're younger. Okay. Lil Meech, he come downstairs. He was like, "Man, why you ain't fix us no hamburger?" Terry was like, "Man, you got two hands. You can fix your own self." He opened up the door. It's fridge door. It's a little bit of hamburger meat left. I said, "Boy, you could have fixed you like a little slider or something. You ain't had to fix you like a full on burger or anything like that." So he get pissed off at Terry. Man, they start wrestling up in the house. I said, "Y'all better be careful now, okay? Before one of y'all burn yourself on that little eye, and then also y'all might break something." We see Lil Nicole. She out in the living room. It looked like they watching Soul Train. This is 1980 something. Yeah, it looked like they watching Soul Train or like a music show or something like that, introducing one of the Doom dance moves at that time. Most likely, probably Soul Train. So then there's this loud crash on the floor. Loud crash that happens. I said, "Oh, what y'all do?" Girl, we look go into the kitchen, the china cabinet, because y'all know that in a lot of households, there's this cabinet that's full of fine china that don't be used, okay? That does not be used at all. They just there for decorations. Look here, my granny has some fine china. Never used it. Never used it. It was just there for decorations. I don't know what happened to it. Probably still at the house. But yeah. It's just decorations. Ain't nothing else. Just some decorative china. So the mama gets home and she's pissed. She got the belt, giving them some whoopings, okay? And in this scene, we hear the voiceover of Big Meech. I don't think it's Big Meech doing the voiceover. You can't, well, some people do be finagling things, in prison and everything like that. So it might be Big Meech, the real Big Meech that's providing like the voiceover, or it's somebody that sound dang near close to him. Um, I don't know if it's a real Big Meech. Y'all tell me. Y'all ask me if it's the real Big Meech that's doing the voiceovers. But the Big Meech who's doing the voiceover, he says that this was where me and Terry, we always learned to trust each other. We always had each other's back. And so we get to present day, and they at this four-way intersection. Okay, Big Meech is at the stop sign. Then another car pulls forward in front of him. I said, "Please do not get out the car." You don't get out the car. He proceeds to get out the car. I said, "This." I said, "You could have just put that thing in reverse. Skirt, skirt. You could have went in reverse, right?" But nah, he got out the car, and the car, it's Pat's car, basically his boss and everything like that, who supplies him the drugs and everything like that. Like I said, Pat is like the person that Misha and Terry look up to, and who is also their boss or whatever. So getting his car, it's covered in leather. I said, since when? I'm like, has cars always been like plastic wrap? That's what it looked like, plastic wrap, not leather, but plastic wrap. Y'all who was around that time in the 80s and 70s, 80s, and everything like that, did y'all have plastic covering in y'all car? Cause I'm like, ooh, that's nasty, especially when it gets hot and you start sweating up in that car because it's full of plastic covering. So, Pat, that's what Harris' name, Pat. He's mad because the boys are behind. And Mish was like, "Look here, bro. I'm dealing with everything that's going on with Terry. I got a lot of things going on." He said, "Well, look here. You got 6 days, okay, to make up for what you have missed, okay?" And he pulls out a gun. He was like, "This is your alarm clock. You got 6 days. And when it goes ring, you know what's up." And during this moment, Meech is he's freaking out because he sees the dead body of, well, not the dead body, but the corpse of the dude who B Mickey, aka Miles, um shot last episode. he sees the corpse and like side of his head, got a bullet in his head and all blood, and he turns his head to Meech and he attacks him and he freaks out. And so, like I said, they got 6 days to get everything that they need to get before something happens. And he's gonna tax them. I said, how much you gonna tax, bro? So Meech leaves, and his driver, who's like his right hand man, I guess, he was like, you know that they're not gonna be able to do this in 6 days. And Pat was like, yeah. So that makes it known is that they will forever be underneath me. So he doesn't want Meech and Terry to succeed. He wants them to stay beneath him. So we see Snoop Dogg. I told y'all in the recap of episode 1 and 2. I think it's still uploading, but if this video is up before that video, Snoop Dogg is in the show. But Snoop Dogg is playing this pastor named Pastor Swift. Now, I don't know who's in charge of hair on this show, but that wig cap, that wig was giving me Tyler Perry-esque. And y'all know Tyler Perry is not the best when it comes to wigs. Y'all know that. I don't know if that was the look they was trying to go for, but look here, that wig, I know because Snoop got dreads. He got them long dreads, so I'm pretty sure y'all put his dreads in like a bun and then slapped that wig on. Y'all could have picked a different wig because you can tell that that is a wig. You can tell. You can tell that's a wig. I don't know what the budget is for hair, but okay. But he's named Pastor Swift, okay? And he is gonna pray for Terry. Terry just got out of jail. He got the eye patch on looking like Slick Rick. Wanda there with her 2-for-1 special wig. And then, you know, the daddy and the mama. The daddy looking at Pastor Swift and the mama like, y'all a little bit too close. Y'all a little bit too close. And I'm like, yeah, you too busy worrying about what Meech is doing. Worry about what your wife is doing, okay? Because they praying. You supposed to have your eyes closed when you praying. He looking a little glimpse. And he sees that they holding hands a little bit too tight now, okay? And so they pray. And the daddy tell Terry that, you know what, you need to, you know, rest because that's what you're supposed to do, okay? And then Swift gives Miss Lucille, that's Meech and Terry's mama, Miss Lucille a card for his, I think his niece. His niece is a lawyer up at U of M. That's in U of M is in Ann Arbor. I think they have like some Detroit schools in there. Detroit, U of M, Detroit, just like U of M Flames here. But the main campus is in Ann Arbor. But you know, contingencies and everything like that. He was about to break down what contingency is, but the daddy was like, I know what contingency means. Then we get this knock at the door. I mean, we get the door. Door bust open. Who is it? It's Meech. The daddy was like, excuse me, what you doing here? Where's your key? Give me your key. Give me your key. Meech gives him key. He was like, just like everybody else who don't live here, you gonna have to knock. I thought he was gonna walk out of the house and then knock at the door. He ain't do that. Pastor Swift's like, I smell me some bacon. Smell higher than the heavens up in here. He goes in the kitchen. Miss Lucille laughing. The daddy looking like, y'all a little bit too close in there. So we see Meech outside. He smoking it up, and then the car. Terry gets in there. Terry was like, look here, bro. I think we need to split this profit 50-50. He was like, I shed my life and blood for this. I mean, you ain't have no other choice. You got shot, so of course you shed some blood. But Meech was like, we got a problem here. Pat is telling us that we got 6 days, and he's taxing us 10% to get all his money back. Terry's like, how we gonna do this in 6 days? We making barely enough at the rec center, okay? How we gonna do that? Meech was like, I don't know. But then Terry was like, look here. I was thinking maybe, instead of doing like the corner stuff, we can go to the factories. Factories, they ain't looking for that low quality stuff. Nah, they want that high stuff. And I said, yeah, factory workers, that's a good, mm-hmm, that's good. But you know what? You better not work at the factory that your daddy working, whichever factory he working at. You better not supply there because he gonna get you, okay? And so Meech was like, all right, that's a good idea. I'll think about it. And then Terry was like, what's going on with B Mickey? He ain't visiting me in the hospital or nothing. Meech was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll take care of him. He was like, all right, bet. I'll see you later. And I said, nah, B Mickey gotta go. B Mickey need to go. Because look here, Meech, Big Meech. I don't know if this B Mickey character was real or not, but if he was doing this stuff, whoever B Mickey is based off of, whether he's real, if he was real, I hope you got rid of him and he wasn't with you for a long time, okay? Because he seemed like he was the little trouble one trying to question stuff. But if he was fake and he wasn't real, Lil Meech, get rid of him. Get rid of B Mickey. Get rid of B Mickey. He seemed like trouble. He's the bad egg in the bunch. He is the bad egg in this bunch. He gotta go. Okay, so what happened? What happened is that the 12th Street Boys, I think that's their name. It's 12th Street something. 12th Street Boys or 12th Street Boys. One of the ones. So Famale is the dude that, like I told y'all in the recap for episode 1 and 2, he was the dude that was on the show G's to Gens, who wanted to be an actor and everything like that. He was in ATL movie. His name is Famale on this show. One of the dudes was like, Famale, he in hospital, be within an inch of his life. Now, one of the other dudes was like, it's them 50 boys. We gonna have to go to war. Lamar was like, nah, bro, we ain't gonna do that, okay? And so one of them was like, what, so you think you in charge now? And then homie, I don't know his name, homie who had the Jerry curl in the first episode, who sprained his Jerry curl, yeah, he was like, look here, Lamar been in this game for years, all right? He older than y'all, and he know what's up, okay? And so I'm like, y'all look trying to find a dude who beat up Lamel. You're looking dead at him, Lamar, okay? And so we see, we are at the house. We are at the house, and the daddy gets home from work, okay? He sees the baby, Wanda and Terry, they with the baby, and he walks in the kitchen. Miss Lucille says, we don't have time now. We're running out of time at the bank. Y'all remember when I said that they deal with mortgage problems, right? And little Meech offered him, the money to pay for the mortgage, right? The daddy didn't want to take it. He was like, you know what? I'll pick up another shift. Miss Lucille was like, it's not about working another shift here or there. I said, look here, Miss Lucille. Your man is working how many hours at the factory? GM factory. Okay? I don't know how much money they was making at that time. What are you doing? What are you doing, Miss Lucille? What are you doing? Are you working? Are you helping out with the mortgage too? Are you giving income too, Miss Lucille? What you doing? What you doing, Miss Lucille? Huh? What you doing, Miss Lucille? You're doing nothing. All right. Don't get mad at him because he trying to pick up some extra stuff to help pick up the mortgage. What y'all should have done is y'all should have took the money, paid off that mortgage, and then start preparing for the next mortgage. That's what y'all should have done. But y'all was being too prideful, didn't want to take the money. But okay, now this is the mess that you in. So they get the doorbell, and it's Officer Charles and his partner. They asking Terry, do you remember what happened? Can you remember anything? Terry was like, nah, it seems like blank. And then his partner was like, you were found in this Mercedes type of, type of Mercedes. And he was like, that glass shatter, and that could be like a car that's used in like the drug game and stuff like that. Daddy was like, is there something you want to tell me? Huh? I said, yeah, your son, your angel son is in a drug gang with your rebellious other son. Yeah, yeah, that's what's up. Okay. Miss Lucille was like, look here, nope, it's closed. Wanda was like, it's a card from my Uncle Troy. My Uncle Troy got me in for my baby shower. I said, girl, that's a bold-faced lie. Because ain't nobody getting you no card for your baby shower. Girl, that was a lie right there. The daddy was like, "Are you want to tell me something, boy?" Miss Lucille was like, look here, my son is a straight A student. He is on, the scholar team. He is this, he is that. My son will never do anything like this. You know what? This interview is over. I said, yeah, your perfect son, is doing some illegal stuff. Yeah. So after the interrogation, we see Officer Charles and his partner. His partner asking Charles, like, what was that in there? You barely pressed Terry, and you're believing the BS story that his girlfriend gave her. Are you in some kind of cahoots with, the Flannery boys? Charles was like, look here, uh, I've been doing this for many years. Okay, do not question my integrity. Okay, let's roll. And we now know, we been knew that he was a dirty cop. Come on, this show. You know what? You look at certain people, and you could tell that they can just play a bad guy so well. Charles, okay, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and then here in many other roles, he's played a bad guy. Blair Underwood, he is known in the black community for playing a villain. In almost every film that he has been in, he has played a bad guy, except for Set It Off. Okay. Other than that, he's been a bad guy in every role he's been in. Blair Underwood. So I knew seeing Charles in here, he was gonna play a bad character. Okay. And so we see the crew of the 50 Boys. All right. We see B Mickey, out of face, out of face. Okay, B Mickey, okay, and Kato, and some of the other 50 Boy crew members. They're spread out in the factory, trying to sell the drugs and everything like that. And Kato was like, "Man, it's dead out here." But then B Mickey was like, "Look here, it starts slow at first, but then it starts picking up." She asked him like, "Hey, you gonna go to Terry's birthday party?" He was like, "Nah, I'm not into bowling or anything like that." So they talking it up. And then the security guard for the factory rolls up. He said, look here, y'all been here for an hour. Okay. Uh what's going on? Okay, what's going on here? And she was like, the security guard was like, look here, okay, look here, lady. You don't dress the part, but you've been doing this for an hour now. B Mickey was like, so you calling her a hoe? He was like, look here, if the corner fits. He was like, if I come back here, I'ma call the cops. I'm like, bro, you security. Do better at your job. So we see this scene with Lamar and Zoe. They play Monopoly. I haven't played Monopoly in I don't know how long. It's been years since I played Monopoly. So they play Monopoly, and this whole little re reconnecting. Okay, Lamar and Zoe. He was gone for 3 years. He showed up at her school. It was a little awkward, and now they're all buddy buddy. Still reconnecting. Okay, we see Cash Doll. Now we all know Cash Doll is pregnant. Okay, Cash Doll is pregnant. I seen the little pudge. I say, oh, she was pregnant around this time. But yes, girl is full blown pregnant now. But she is pregnant. Okay, for y'all that don't know. And Zoe leaves to go do her work and everything like that. And Lamar asked her, how long she been doing tennis, because she asked Lamar to go to her like tennis practice. And Monique was like, yeah, she's been doing it for a little bit because the guidance counselor said it would be better to keep her mind focused and everything like that. And Cash Doll get a pager. It was from a 313. It was an 800 number, 313, and the last four digits was 9,000. So he tells Cash Doll, look, well, Monique, look here. I'm going to be here forever. I ain't going nowhere. I love you. Okay, now we gonna see. We gonna see Lamar. He looked familiar. Lamar looked familiar. It looked like I've seen him in a couple of things before. I just can't put my finger on it. He looks familiar though. So we see Meech. He's checking up on 50 boys in the factory. He questioned B. Mickey and Kato. What's going on here? What y'all doing? Why we ain't making money? He was like, man, it ain't my fault that these people ain't buying nothing. And so Meech is mad. Okay, he's pissed. He looking around. Factory horn blows, and we see the workers going to lunch. They all getting their food, and this food truck drives by, but then there's another one behind it. So Meech get the idea, and me and him thinking the same thing. We like, how about y'all just sell the drugs through the food trucks? And so he goes up to one of the food trucks. He's like, hey yo, why you ain't there in the factory? He was like, man, I ain't paying $500 for a permit. And he was like, what's your name again? He was like, they say his name is Daryl, but they call me Fonzo. So he gets the idea, like I said, to sell the drugs through the food truck. Okay. So then we see we go to the police station, E-Course police station, and we see Charles and his partner. His partner says James Williams' mother hasn't seen him in this many days. He goes by the name of J-Mo. J-Mo was the leader of the 12th Street Boys who B. Mickey shot, because word around street it was that J-Mo was the one that killed Terry when he didn't. So he's dead. All right. And Charles was like, I don't know this dude, but you brought J-Mo there to ruffle for Meech to ruffle his feathers. And so they get called to war room by their chief. And he was like, look here, Detective Beck, Meredith Beck, she's from Michigan State Police, and she is in charge of our division. And she talks about how, you know what, y'all are going to have more research sources, more respect here for Drano, which is their y'all know, like, they have RICO cases and everything like that. Drano is the drug cases around Michigan. So then we get a lesson from the voiceover of Big Meech, and he tells us how, since when the 1967 Detroit riots happened, a lot of white people was leaving Detroit to go to the suburbs. And I said, yep, that sounds exactly right. Okay, a lot of people was leaving Detroit to go to the suburbs. All right. And so that meant a lot of black people moved in. And then in the 70s, they elected Governor Coleman Young. This was way before I was born, y'all. I was born in 1996. And he tells us how Coleman didn't care for the drug dealers. He said, if you drug dealers or any other stuff, get out of Detroit. And I don't care if you're black or white, batch not, if you don't care what we're doing here, you can get out of Michigan. And then Meech tells us around 1985, 1986, Detroit was the murder capital. And he was like, that was around the same time that Meech and I got involved in the drug game. They was running up in Detroit, and then they went up to River Road, then they went down to E-Course, and then around the other neighboring cities. And then that made them involved in the Drano case. So surrounding areas, basically, you involved. Life lesson, history lesson. There you go. So we see Fonzo. His name is David, by the way. I called him Daryl. But David, aka Fonzo, he is prepping food for his food truck. And Terry keep making fun of his food truck, calling it roach infested. And I said, boy, you try and take the person who's trying to provide y'all the money for your drugs. I think you might want to tone it down a bit, okay? And basically, Meech tells Fonz, like, have you ever had a dream and anything like this? He was like, I want to own my own restaurant. He was like, okay, you can own your own restaurant if you keep, letting us go through you. And we going to pay you the same amount every time. And so David agrees to that. Cool. So then we see, what did I say? I said, oh, female. Female is in the hospital. Homie got the jaw brace. He toe up. Somebody comes to the door. It's Lamar. Lamar tells Female, look here. When you get out of this hospital, you are gonna get out of this hospital, you are gonna get in your car, and you are gonna get out of here. So I will never ever see you again. Okay? Basically, just don't ever come back. We see Terry and Meech. They in a strip club, okay? Alright. And this girl is grinding up on Meech. I said, Lil Meech, you was fine, bro. Like what's up? What up though? What up though? What up though, Lil Meech? Um, he tells her, um, well, he actually tells Terry what he told her. He was like, go and mess with all the dudes in the factory because this is where they go. Get cheap shots, get a lap dance, all this other stuff. So you tell me which ones is the ones that like to get high. So while they're talking, Pat pops up out of nowhere. I'm like, where did this nigga come from? Pat was like, y'all in here in this janky strip club. Y'all could have went to either this place or that place. But y'all know what? You're slacking. So I'm going to move y'all up, okay? They pissed, all right? And he was like, yeah, I can do whatever I want because I'm God. I said, look here now. You think you God, you going to get knocked off your pedestal a couple of notches now. I think you might want to tone it down, Pat, okay? And so the girl who was giving him the lap dance, she looks at Meech, and Meech was like, all right, this dude. So Meech gives the dude, a bag. And he tells him, look here, if you like it, let the boys know at the factory. I'll be by the food truck. I'll be outside. Thanks. What's up? Then we see Charles. Charles is daddy, man. Charles get home from work, and Wanda's there with the baby. He was like, let me hold the baby and everything like that. He holding the baby. He asked her about Uncle Troy. She says Uncle Troy live in Pontiac by the Silverdome. And that go there for the Pistons game and the Lions games. I said, wait a minute now, Pontiac. Now I know the Lions played in the Silverdome, but I'm like, did the Pistons ever play in the Pontiac? I don't know if they played the Pontiac. But she was like, yeah. So he bought me a car. I said, girl, that just makes no sense. That makes no sense. And the Daddy Charles ain't buying it. Terry comes on. He was like, boy, ain't you supposed to be asleep? He was like, LaWanda was like, yeah, I went to send Terry to get some formula. He was like, yeah, there ain't none. My head started throbbing, so, I'm asking LaWanda to get it. And they looking at each other like, yo, daddy don't believe this. And I said, you dang right the daddy don't believe it, because y'all both stupid for lying about that. Girl, ain't no uncle gonna give his niece no dang on car, a Mercedes Benz, for a baby shower. So we see Big Meech. He's smoking in the car. The car pull up. His mama gets out. And she was like, you can't be smoking outside of my house. I said, he don't even live there, so he can practically smoke anywhere, ma'am. He tells her, it's funny, because I just paid off a mortgage. Paid off the whole mortgage. I say, I'm like, okay, I don't own a house, but can y'all put like a down payment on mortgage? Y'all put like a down payment and pay it over time? I don't know how mortgages work. But the mom was like, how am I going to tell daddy about how he got paid? He was like, would y'all rather be homeless and holy, or would you rather, keep a roof over your head? She was like, it don't matter. How am I going to explain it to your father? I said, you should have set the money in the first place. So then we see Meech. He's with Fonzo. And he tells him, look here, the special of the burger is called the Stone Burger. And that's what happens. So then, honk, honk, time to go off for lunch. Old dude from the strip club seen Meech. He was like, all right, go up to the food truck, say, you want the Stone Burger. Homie goes up, he says he wants 5 Stone Burgers and 5 fries. We see B. Mickey in the truck with him and Kato. B. Mickey, he put in the bag, and every single, bag. Hands it to the people. Homie, next one was like, I want 2 more. Bam, bam. They start rolling. Then we see a scene with Meech. Meech sees one of his dudes talking to a white girl. The voiceover Big Meech was like, look here, one thing you don't do, look here, back in 80s, Detroit was predominantly black, all right? There was no white people there. The only white people that would be there is white people undercover as cops. So Meech tell old dude, you better stop what you're doing We don't sell to white people, okay? So he tells up his crew. He was like, look here, I'll give you this Rolex, whoever can, make the most and everything like that. Basically lighting a fire under their bus to sell more stuff. Then we get this montage of both the street crew and then B Mickey and Kato in the factory, and they're both, selling the drugs, putting the drugs in the bag. We got a whole group bunched up trying to get, the food and everything like that. And they making money. They making bank. They fill up the money in the shoebox. Bam. They making money. So then Terry was like, well, Terry meets up with Meech at the park and tells them like, look here, we got enough money to give to Pat, but then we also got some money for ourselves. Cop car pull over. They all doing a signal, cuckoo, cuckoo. They all swarm. Charles pulls up and he tells them to assume the position. He was like, we haven't seen J-Mo in over a couple of days. Meech is like, I don't know what's going on. That ain't my fault. It's probably internal than external. He also tells Meech that there's, this new drug ring that's going on, new management. Meech was like, that's what we got you for. He was like, I ain't got enough wiggle room, but I'm just letting you know. All right, so keep your eyes alert, eyes alert, eyes alert. Okay, so we see Lil Meech pop up at Pat's, headquarters. The homie that was in the limo tells him, yo, he in the back with some girls, but, I'll buzz you in. So Meech gets in, he got the money, right? Everybody in that room looked high. Pat was just standing there. High. And he see Meech. He was like, oh, Meech. He's scraping off. He got a pipe and residue of cocaine. NWA said, you don't get high off your own supply. Pat is getting high off of his own supply. And, he was like, hey, you want to stay here? Meech was like, nah, I got to get to Terry party. Meech looking at Pat like, you sus right now, homie. You sus, all right? So we get to the party. It's at a bowling alley. And we see Terry's teacher pop up, and he was like, yeah, I gave you the homework that you asked for. Here it is. And so then we see Meech. He pops up. He was like, yo, how did everything go with Pat? He was like, I'll tell you later. Terry was like, nah, I want to know now. Kato pops up, and, she asked about what's going on. And Terry got a smart mouth. I'm going to say this. Terry has a smart mouth. And he need to watch his mouth before something goes for that mouth gets him popped, all right? And so he was like, you know what? I'm tired of y'all treating me like this. From now on, I'm rolling with the iron fist. No BS. We see Kato in the bathroom, and Lamar pops up. This shisty snake is working with Lamar. She is working with Lamar, and Lamar wants her to say everything. Tell me where they stash at. Tell me what they doing. I want to know everything. Her shisty self is working with Lamar. Girl, I gave you props in the last review. Now you want to do this? You can't trust nobody. Can't trust nobody, okay? And so, LaWanda wants to leave. Terry was like, no, I don't want to leave. I said, you shouldn't leave. It's your party. Why he need to leave early? She walk out, angry. Meech sees Lamar. And, well, no, he sees one dude from the 12th Street Boys. Then the whole gang pops up, and Lamar is now the face. Lil Zane was like, he the one that probably messed up for Mel. Terry was like, he probably the one who shot me. So they all throwing gang signs back and forth. Terry was about to do something, but Meech was like, no, we ain't about to do nothing yet. All right. We see Meech don't want to start nothing, but Terry all about it. We see Terry go home, and LaWanda's pissed. She was like, you don't listen to me, you don't do nothing, you keep treating me like I'm trash, and she's going off. Meech was like, you know what, I love you and I'm gonna start respecting you. And he was about to start kissing her. She was like, I can't have sex yet. He was like, hey, but what that mouth do? She was like, when was that last time you ate my kitty cat? He was like, look here now, I don't do that stuff. I said, a real man does. But yeah, they start, finagling in the kitchen. I said, y'all really gonna do it in the kitchen though? But okay, now do what you gotta do. And so but Da Vinci was good too. We see we at mom's house. We Charles come home. He was like, I was about to just, you know what? Craziest thing happened. I was just gonna go to the bank to pay the mortgage, but somehow it's already paid. Did Pastor Swift do this? Lucille was like, no, he ain't do nothing. He was like, what did I tell you about doing outside help? So you gonna give me the name and I'm gonna go call that person. She was like, Meech did it. And he was like, well, we gonna unpay it. And me and Lucille was thinking the same thing, but she said it. How can you unpay something that's already paid? You can't get a refund on a mortgage, sir. That's not how it works. And he started going off at her, and then they start arguing. Not Da Vinci, Terry comes in, and he was like, you know what? You want Lamicha here? Here you go. There's the key, but I'm out of here. And we see Meech. He pops up at Monique's house. He was like, I've been paging you all day and everything. You ain't been answering. She was like, so you think that it's a smart idea for you to pop up unannounced? And he was like, look here, we need to talk about Lamar. Bam, Lamar pops up. He was like, what you want to say now? He was like, look here, you ain't got to say nothing but a word. What's good, homie? I love that saying. I love that saying. You ain't got to say nothing but a word, homie. You ain't got to say nothing but a mother effing word. What's good, homie? What's good? And so they was about to, fight and everything, and Misha was about to pull out a gun. She was like, why you gonna pull out a gun? Is Zoe here and everything like that? And he was like, you know what, we done, Monique. Lamar was like, man, you young mug, we over this. No, it don't matter. And he says, you know what, you basically, it just all comes down to trust. You gotta trust certain people, and like certain people will just stab you in the back. Basically, that's what it is. You can't be trusting everybody now, and he's finally seen clearly that you can't trust everybody. So that was the end of the episode. I like the show. I like the show. The show is good. I like the show. If y'all can't tell by this review. So y'all, I will see you tomorrow for my review of Animal Kingdom. All right. Peace. I love you guys. Bye.